Ladies and gentlemen, today is December 21st, which means it's officially winter, and the Yankees have officially made their big pitch to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Aaron Boone spoke a little bit about their meeting today, and Yamamoto walked away with a number 18 pinstripe jersey. We'll check in on how everybody's feeling. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankees Stadium.
New York City.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I know a lot of you follow other sports during the winter. New York is a big hockey town. It's a big football town, although the football teams obviously could be doing better. Basketball town. So a lot of people kind of lose touch of what's going on as the winter drags along with baseball. And in case you haven't been following it, Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been touring the U.S., going to different cities. He started in L.A., ended up in New York. Apparently he met with the Phillies. No word on where that was. Keith Calif says, let's go Yankees. Appreciate it. But it sounds like we're starting to enter the end game now. To borrow a word from Dr. Strange, we have gotten to the point where teams are being told they are out. The Giants have been told they are out of the Yamamoto sweepstakes. Now, I thought it was interesting that Yamamoto first met with everyone in L.A. That's where his agents' offices are located. He met with the Dodgers. He went to Dodger Stadium. We saw the images of Yamamoto on the scoreboard with all the hype. That's no big deal. We saw Manny Machado, welcome to Yankee Stadium, yada, yada, yada. Teams do that. It's part of their package. Apparently, he then went to the Mets to have dinner with Steve Cohen's family at Steve Cohen's house and a contingent of players and reps and things like that. I've heard that Steve Cohen personally was not there, but on his way out of town, he apparently requested a meeting with the Yankees. I didn't make a big deal over him requesting a meeting with the Yankees while he's in town. Makes a lot of sense. But today we finally got some information about what those meetings were like. He asked about the Yankees' rivalry. He asked about the environment in Yankee Stadium, what it's like to pitch in the postseason at Yankee Stadium, which hopefully he didn't ask anybody from this year. But I think that the fact that he seems to be looking for that biggest stage, it's a good sign for the Yankees. The Yankees are by far the most well-known team. I have a friend who lives in Japan. He says there's more Yankee hats than anything in Japan, than any other team. Even with Shohei on the Angels, still way more Yankees hats. And Javier Baez says, we need him.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Sean E. says he saw a post on X from a poster, doesn't say who, saying 9 years, $326 million for Yamamoto. Now, the numbers are going to be thrown out there. A lot of people throwing speculation out there, but nobody knows for sure. Things may start to leak at some point, but I highly doubt the Yankees or Yamamoto's camp have leaked the actual number yet. And one thing to factor into the eventual number is that Ken Rosenthal said today, or maybe in the last episode of Fair Territory, they did the calculation for what the posting fee will be. And the posting fee escalates based on the total amount of the contract. And it sounds like if he gets a $300 million contract, the posting fee is going to be $45 million roughly. I think 46.4 or something along those lines. But let's just round down to $45 million. And if it goes, over $300 million, which it sounds like it might, Garrett Cole got $324 million. It could end up in that range. Obviously, the posting fee gets higher. Does not sound like that's going to bother the Yankees all that much. One thing that is great about the posting fee is it is not added on to your luxury tax threshold or your salary, obligations for the year. It doesn't count against the luxury tax. So it's just basically you're writing a check. And then his salary will be all that counts. Now, I do think he's going to get $30 million. I really do. I think what you might see, and with Shohei Ohtani being the I guess, the trendsetter with this. You might see some deferred payments. There's only a few teams that can do that can offer the deferred payments at the level that, the Giants offered and the Dodgers ended up going with. And the Yankees are one of those teams because they have that stable ownership where in 10 years, the Yankees are still going to be valuable. And even if they're sold, a team that buys the Yankees would have to have billions and billions of dollars. And, committing, $30, $40 million down the line is not a bad suggestion for this guy, especially when his contract runs out. He'll probably be, 34, 35 years old. He'll still have another 5 years in the league. So that just exponentially improves your salary at the tail end of your career. So SJJ2XS says, this kid doesn't have any history of arm issues in Japan. Just checking, he's only 5'10". That's a quality comment. That's a quality comment.
Bing!
There's been a lot made about this kid's durability. He is small for a pitcher. I've heard comparisons of Pedro Martinez. I've heard comparisons of Marcus Stroman. I've heard comparisons of Tim Lincecum. Now, Tim Lincecum is somebody who I think is the closest match when you look at how the ball comes out of his hand and the whip-like action of his arm. I think there's a very close comparison. And Tim Lincecum did break down, but he also had a Hall of Fame peak. Now, maybe the Yankees will get lucky and Yoshinobu's peak can be extended beyond what Lincecum's was. Injuries are just, who knows. But Yamamoto is a very complete pitcher. He's not just a power guy. He throws strikes. He's got an excellent strikeout to walk ratio. Obviously, the carry on the fastball, the ability to pitch up and away to righties, kind of like Garrett Cole does, will get him a lot of swing and misses. And if you lose velocity, you lose the ability to do that. But Jeff Passan said that he's going to have the best curveball in the major leagues on day one. Ultra Cowboy says he'll be a Dodger.
What the f*** is this piece of shit?
Hope not. I hope not. King Ram says, what other pitches does he throw? So, aside from the fastball, which will sit at 95, 96 miles an hour, can touch 97, 98. I've heard triple digits, but I've never seen it, so I don't want to say he throws triple digits, but I've seen him throw 96, 97. He throws best described as a Dwight Gooden curveball. It is a nose-to-toes curveball, a true 12-6. You just saw a bendy right there. He can change the angle on it. He can have it be 12-6, but he can also have it be more like 1-7, 2-8 on the clock. He also throws a little bit of a cutter, a little bit of a slider, but the big pitch, other than the curveball, is the splitter. Now, the splitter is something that American pitchers don't throw very much. There's been a lot of pitchers coming over from Japan that have had a lot of success with it. There's the splitter right there. Tanaka's one of those guys. Obviously, Hiroki Kuroda with the Yankees was one of those guys. Arabu threw a splitter, but everybody waited on his fastball because it was straight as a string. And then Kodai Senga with the Mets last year. He had what's called the ghost splitter, which to me is not as good as Yamamoto's splitter. So projecting what Yamamoto would be, obviously he's not going to have a 1.16 ERA like you see on your screen in the major leagues, but I could see a scenario where he's, maybe in the low to mid twos, something like that. Let's go full screen with Yamamoto and take a look at his stuff. Now, if you're listening on the podcast, just good time to tune in on YouTube. We're just going to do a complete breakdown of his stuff as we watch the highlights of this guy pitch. This is the splitter. As you can see, it starts low and it breaks even lower into the dirt. Very tough to square that pitch up. He also throws a splitter that he can backdoor. Masahiro Tanaka used to do that as well. There's another one. You see the bat getting let go. He just fooled the hitter so much. It looks like a fastball and the bottom just drops out. That's a fantastic angle. Dr. Hiskin says he's very Yamamotional about this. I love it. There's the fastball, 96 miles an hour, you see there. 148 kilometers an hour. I don't have the math in my head, but that's low 90s. And then you see the breaking ball. That was at 129 kilometers. I don't have the conversion there, but it's like a mid-80s curveball. And as you see, going up and away to righties, up and into lefties. He spots it very well. There's a good overhead view. You can see just a little bit of late life. And you see with all the different camera angles, a lot of different looks and angles on his pitches, and you see that he avoids the middle of the plate. with the fastball at least. He pitches around the edges and has just really, really good stuff. Now, this, I got to say, this is one of my more favorite comments. Mike Sam says, sign with the team already, Yamamoto.
Oh!
I love it. Tricia says, do you think Yamamoto is going to win the Cy Young in 2024? That's a lot to ask of a young pitcher, man. That is a lot to ask. I would be satisfied with a really good season, a Kodai Senga level season. 2.8, 2.9 ERA, 15 wins, 175, 180 innings. Obviously going to space him out a little bit because he's used to pitching once a week, and then hopefully throw him in the playoffs and have him be fresh. JT says, breaking news, Yamamoto in agreement. 15-year, $800 million contract with the Oakland A's. Credits to Jose Canseco for the extra push to sign with the A's. Unfortunately for you, that is fake news. There will be no Yamamoto A's signing. That would be more than their entire, to sign Yamamoto would be more than the rest of their salary combined. What was interesting is they actually signed some random pitcher the other day. I forget his name, Brody or something like that. And they actually turned off the comments on the official Oakland A's Twitter so that the fans couldn't even respond to signing him. Unreal. William Flores says, Yamamoto, you are New York Yankees 100%. We hope so. We hope so. It's only going to be a matter of time now. We've also heard recently that his signing window might extend into the January 1st to 4th timeline. I don't think it's going to go all the way down to January 4th. I think we'll know before then. Matter of fact, wouldn't surprise me if we know before Christmas. A couple of reasons. He's got to have a physical, right? Teams are going to want to give him a physical before he signs that big contract. It can take some time to get a doctor, to get everything lined up, especially around the holidays. Now, what we might see is that he chooses a team, but it's not official. And they have to go through the process of getting the medicals checked, and you won't see the team comment on it. And then when the physical clears and he passes, then you'll see the announcement from the team. King Ram says, how is Jason Dominguez? Is he going to start opening day? Unfortunately, he is not going to start opening day, but we did get a Jason Dominguez update today from Aaron Boone. He said that Jason Dominguez is going to be almost ready in spring training. Apparently, he's healing quicker than we had hoped. He's progressing nicely. Now, the original timeline that he gave was 9 to 10 months. That would have put him back in about August. I think that he's going to be ready probably in June to resume at least minor league full level activities. I'm not convinced that they're 100% going to call him up immediately when he's ready, because they want to get him hot first, right? You want to get him swinging the bat the way he was at the end of the season when you call him up. That way he doesn't struggle when you call him up. And you want him to be going into the lineup during the heat of the summer when the Yankees are, getting the extra flight on the ball. You got Yamamoto settled in. You got Judge in midseason form. You hit Dominguez in the top 3. He was hitting third before he got injured. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I think it's going to be Soto in the number 2 spot, Judge in the number 3 spot, although I could see them putting Soto in the number 1 spot and Judge in number 2. I could also see Judge at number 1 and Soto number 2, but I think having Soto in front of Judge is huge. We talked about that a lot. But with Dominguez coming up, you ensure that he's going to see good pitches to hit if you hit him leadoff in front of Soto and Judge. And if he gets on, and he was hitting well and getting on base when he got hurt, he could score a lot of runs in the second half. SJJ2XS says, any news on Plan B, Corbin Burns? Not yet, other than he has said that he will not sign an extension wherever he gets traded to. He wants to test the market. He's only a year away. He's another Boris client. So just like Juan Soto, he's not in any rush to sign a extension. Word Lifer says Bryce Harper healing factor. Yeah, some guys heal quicker than others. Harper appears to heal quick. Sounds like Dominguez is a quick healer. But then there's guys like Jacoby Ellsbury and Carl Pavano who milk every injury to the max ad nauseum. So I want to see. This is a great comment too. Deli Man says Dominguez on Aaron Rodgers' timeline.
More of that, please.
I was really looking forward to seeing more of Aaron Rodgers this year, but unfortunately the injury took him out. Jets are now done, and there's a chance we could see him play, but with them being eliminated, I wouldn't play him at all. Just wait till next year and let him play. Let's see here. Benjamin Abello says, I hope they put Dominguez as the DH in the early part of the season. I could see that happening. Lori C says she is starting to warm up to Alex Verdugo. I saw his interview, his press conference today, and I thought he was very impressive. He struck me as a guy who will do well from a change of scenery. You know? Word Lifer says Carl Pavano was that kid in the nurse's office all the time.
Yeah, bird!
I like it. Let's see here. Legend says Yamamoto with Ohtani at the Rams game scares me. Look, I would much rather he was at a Rangers game with Judge and Rizzo, but, you know, it is what it is. Jose says, I hope we do get Yamamoto, but he still has to go visit Mets, Dodgers, and Giants. Going to be tough. I think you're misreading this. He's already met with those teams, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
All right. So let's take a couple of more comments here, and then we will wrap things up. Andrew Calabria says, Verdugo seems like a good person off the field. There's no reason to think he is not. Danny J says, love to see Volpe get hot and bat leadoff in front of Judge and Soto. I think the problem with Volpe is that he just really struggles with breaking balls. He's not going to be much of an, on-base guy. I think he's going to be a good defensive shortstop with Pop, who hits about 230, 240 next year. Maybe 25 homers. I think his power will actually go up because he's, a little stronger, a little older, has seen the league once before. I think the average will go up a little bit, but I think he's, maybe 240, which if you play great defense and hit for some power, steal some bases, that's not bad. And especially at the number 9 spot, you can take it. All right, let's wrap things up.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Spencer Wool says, apparently Yamamoto at the Rams game turned out not to be true. Well, there you go. That's good.
You gotta go.
Evan Windsor says, heard it was just Ohtani at the game. We're making news here, guys. We're making news. All right, ladies and gents, a lot of fun things to announce for the upcoming season. Now, I know I'll do this while we have over 800 people in the chat on just a random evening here in December as we approach the Christmas holiday. So I started working out some of the things that we're going to do the rest of this winter and coming up in the 2023 or 2024 season. So coming up in January, we're working to get 2 guests. One of them is Ken Rosenthal. The other is a Yankee legend that I'm working on. I'm hoping it'll happen. I'm feeling good about it. Ken is part of Foul Territory, and I put in a word with his connection there. And sounds like we're gonna make it happen, but won't be till January. So there might still be moves going on. Hopefully, we'll be done waiting for Yamamoto at that point. But we can talk about all sorts of cool stuff. Another Yankee legend I'm not ready to announce yet, but it's a big one. So once we get a confirmation, we'll get that. So recaps after each game this year. Obviously, West Coast is difficult. So on West Coast games, the plan this year is going to be to do a pregame live show and then a next morning show. And then we're also going to have Max Goodman as a regular part of the channel and as a co-host for what I'm calling Max Yankees. He is a beat writer for the Yankees, and he's going to be coming on a couple of times a month. We have secured his, so let's go ahead. We have secured his cooperation. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. And I'm interviewing a couple of other potential co-hosts for some morning show type stuff that I'm working on. I'm thinking about expanding that This Week in Yankees Baseball to be a Friday or Saturday morning show and having a co-host doing like an hour, maybe a 90-minute show, taking lots of voicemails, lots of calls, just seeing how it goes. We're working on that, but I would definitely need a co-host for that, so I'm working on arranging that. So I appreciate all the support. Go check out NYYRecaps.shop. I just realized that we had the Who's Watching turned off, so let's go ahead and turn that back on. Oh yeah, I remember why, because it was the URL was not working. So let's try and turn it on, see if it comes back on over there. But we do have 800 people roughly watching, so thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.